So when you substitute, do you have to write up do the transcribing?
I'll do as much as I possibly can. Sherry said just capture as much as I can, and then she can go back and fill in anything. The last one I did all the minutes. Just depends on how. Yeah.
I mean, I can see the advantage of, it's more than just listening to it on tape. You get context.
You do.
Things, but I also understand, okay, it's on tape.
Yeah, so she can go back, and that's what she likes. And I think with the new system, it makes it easier to hear what has gone on. Mm-hmm. So it's recorded so she can hear it. But what she struggles in is who said the first, who said the second, the minute details. So I've tried to familiarize myself enough that I can do it and get in and out of Word docs to add and change things as they've come in and out today. You got any hiking trips coming up that?
Well, we did Buffalo Fork on Friday and Saturday.
Where's Buffalo Fork?
Do you know Moran is?
Where, who?
Moran.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a river, actually two rivers that come out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And supposedly it's the most remote in the lower 48. Surprisingly, the most remote area in the nation is just southeast of Yellowstone, in which it's 25 miles from the nearest road.
Yep.
In other words,
you can
there's roads in a lot of places. And so we went about 5.5 miles and rafted 10. So, and it was good.
Cool.
Let's do it over.
Yeah.
So is this on? Is it recording?
I don't know. I just know it's unmuted.
It's unmuted?
Yep. So I think if somebody were to remote in, they could sit and look at an empty room. Generally, when I've done that, it's really difficult to hear the small conversations. It's easier when it's picked up by the mics.
Okay. Will Jaron be here today?
He's supposed to be.
Oh, there he is. Obviously, he's speaking because he's wearing a tie. Are we live?
We are.
Already recorded.
Yes. Just cut yourself and give them the instructions for tonight.
Let's do that.
Tonight, please, we're playing an outdoor game called Cub. Johnson. So if all goes well, I'll be up there at 7.
What?
I said if all goes well, I'll be up there at 7.
Well, I think last year I had 8 slides, I did about, so
Uh-oh, you got longer.
it's longer. We'll see how it goes. So when's Taylor's wedding?
August 7th.
Okay, good. list of fixed assets, if we can sit down and say, well, okay, yes, that's equipment.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, we actually did. Jared got me a list, so I've got a list of everything that's out there.
that's been, like, tagged.
No, we did like the tab, we went through every piece of furniture,
Okay.
kitchen equipment, get rid of serial numbers, everything on it, so that we can start to put together kind of an idea of, hey, when do we replace?
Well, what this is this is stuff that is over $5,000, or it got costed to equipment fund.
But I can almost guarantee everything that's there is probably,
Well, some of it,
Oh,
like,
yeah, because everything we were looking at was the big stuff.
so it's not, this is just this year's, last
oh,
year's.
last year's.
Yeah, so there's a list of things, and some of it, you'll go, no, that's not, that's, like, there's a lumen pan, I'm pretty sure that one doesn't belong. I'll delete it out,
Right.
because I'm not gonna depreciate a lumen pan. Unless,
I don't know. I mean,
And,
they do value.
I'm sure, but not at the amount that we're doing. I met with Julie, and we got that reconciled, but the 680 is done. She's, every time I get that, it's like it causes my blood pressure to rise.
The 680?
Oh, yeah. It's like, because you show phone and say, every year, I can't get this to work. I was like, okay, is this going to be the year that I can't get it to work? And we start eliminating things. Oh, it's okay, good. So
The
then,
number of hours that she spends on it.
oh, I know, yeah. And what it is you've got the revenues and you've got the expenditures, and you've got cash. It's in the bank. Those are set. And then you have 2 years of due funds. So that's the stuff that the general has paid for,
Yeah.
but hasn't been reimbursed. And there's last year's number and this year's number, and one of them has to go negative, one has to go positive. And you have to put it in, like, is it cash basis or modified basis? So you tinker around it and get,
Yeah.
it was there. So, she went through and said, okay, this is construction in progress, this is not. Some of it may be construction in progress, but it's less than $5,000, so therefore.
Oh, yeah.
Or sometimes, it can even be more than that. Let's say it's just a repair. You're not, some repairs you want to capitalize, and some repairs you just.
When you're looking at capitalization, yeah.
Okay, because,
So like,
This
so,
would have been the 1920 or the 2021? This would have been the 1920s year or the 2021?
2021. Yeah, so I've got a whole list of them.
Okay.
Do you want to get together tomorrow and look at it?
Yeah, sometime, let's do, I don't know what your schedule's like.
Yeah, I'm not working on Friday. But I've got time tomorrow
Okay.
that I could go over.
No, I've got to meet with Friday, but, we just need to sit down and basically it's, so, for instance, if you've got, you can have a bunch of things that need to be bundled together. And let's say you get shipping and the actual item, and you've got this and that. And we have to put all of those together and then bundle it, because that's really the cost, it's not.
one of your big things was the,
Yeah, so.
And
the
then
question,
do we have to look at where the funds came from
no,
on that? That doesn't matter? Okay. I do need to figure out how much I have left in that grant. Because I know that I kind of had a number and then we decided we needed to pull some things over to
Okay.
take care of CARES money, and,
Yeah,
but I'm spending it, I just
yeah.
need to.
We did go open up that high school network.
So,
I think
for,
Joe-
Good.
I think Joe emailed you just later this
Oh,
afternoon.
okay,
It was
right.
like-
for instance, if,
So that'll be great if Black Springs will sell that to us at a cheap price.
She's supposed to be checking to see, well, a cheaper price. I mean, she's gonna sell it to me for what she paid for it. So it's
Excuse me.
12,
It's kind of like a car. It's already depreciated once it arrives at their
I like
warehouse.
Angie.
so if, for instance, an oven cost $4,000, okay, you bought, 3 ovens, we would capitalize it, because each oven is 4,000. I don't know what the price of the ovens were.
They're over 4, or they're over the 5.
They're over 5 each, or in total.
Well, okay, then you've got to clarify each, because technically a double stack is 2 ovens that they put together. So are we calling a double stack
That
as
might be a
an oven?
unit. That might be a unit.
Okay.
You could make the argument, okay, that's a unit.
Because we put a unit in North and a unit at Aspen.
Yeah.
And a unit at Central.
And things, and so that's why sometimes secretaries get, put one, just the price of, and it's like, well, yeah, but really there's 3 times, you need to put a unit price, because then, in July of the year, when I'm trying to make sense of things, if it's just one big thing, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
we gotta break that out.
Yeah, we can easily look it over and figure it out.
Okay.
That'd be fun.
Northland's been over. Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, no,
So we definitely need those 2 dishwashers over.
I'm sending out, I've got to send it out in a big form.
It's gone.
And that's bad on me, I forgot that. What I'm hearing is that because of COVID and not being able to get from overseas.
Yeah.
So,
That's what I couldn't remember is how much those were.
Are you from Ontario?
I am.
Yeah, just
one of the reasons I was
I, well, I'm part of both, but I'm officially here for the paper. I'm intern for my senior project,
Oh, good.
so, yeah.
Our new threshold for bidding is now 50,000, right, John? That statute?
Well, we'll have to look at our policy.
oh yeah, what our policy says.
Our policies
Because
are,
our policy says 25 still,
I
isn't
think
it?
it's 25 right
So
now.
we've got to get
But
that.
there's a change in, it's 25, but if it's a certain contract, like, construction contract, then I think it's 50. So, and we don't
Paying
want,
for it's 50, I'm paying for it's 25. You're paying for this, right?
well, what I'm saying is, okay, so if you're, I don't know if it's 25 or 30, or 30 or 50, somewhere in there, that needs to be,
We've just got to look, we've got to replace the dishwashers, and so,
so,
but they might come in under 25.
so how much is the,
And actually, my freezer can take 25 quarters of 10,000.
yeah, so you could use a, get a few quotes type thing, and then just do a memo to
That's
the board.
all we did on that one, because it was an emergency, she lost her freezer.
Yeah,
Because I just got 2 quotes and told you, I
That's
said,
good.
this goes major maintenance, let's go quick as can be.
yeah. So how much is the press box in this? And to rebid that one?
That one I bid it out, and then I had them do some changes to it, so I'll probably be right around 75,000. decided to close the bottom part to create more storage. Thought Tim was going to put something in there, and all I have to do is put double layered sheetrock on the ceiling to create the firewall. Turn the lower and the upper side was real good.
Hey, Troy. I heard Michelle, that might be not look like what I wanted, huh?
Troy, what are you doing? You come in, you don't have your in or Virginia.
I got my College World Series stuff.
I know, but
So, does it want to go on with it? Yeah. Let me stick it. Thank you for letting me know. Kind of like the team that wants to play.
Let's have a presentation. Where did you guys go? Oh, there's my bag. I figured with that. I love I forgot my tie. I didn't want to have to drive home to get it, so just want to yeah, let's do it. It always works better. Okay, well, I'm too hot for a tie. Just saw it in there. I thought I'd mark it through it and see what we got. Now you got this down?
kind of.
Hopefully there's like a wide variety.
Okay, so you have HDMI.
Yep.
So put her in there.
Oh, yeah, you don't want mine. I make IT go everywhere with me.
Well, no, ours is back there, so we're good.
Can you make that okay? No, I really can't. Stupid things are.
There's a mouse right there.
Oh, that is my mouse.
I know, I left my bag here. Okay. I got 1 minute to try to get it together here.
Plenty of seconds.
Hey, no comments from the peanut gallery. Is this you or me? That's me, right?
Don't matter, I'll use, yeah, that's fine. I'll grab the other one.
Okay. I think I'm somewhat put together. We'll see how we go. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Welcome. Let's call the meeting, well, actually, I can't call the meeting to order yet because I do need a motion to come out of executive session and reconvene in open session.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion by Dan, a second by Joel. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Now we can start the regular meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so I do need to, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion from Jenny and a second from Joel. Okay, any discussion? Any changes? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it carries. Okay, next we have our consent agenda items. Excuse me, we have approval of the minutes from June 15th. We have the payment of our bills. We have the mill levy request for Region 5 BOCES and the special education contracts overage on the consent agenda. Is there anyone that would like any of those pulled for separate consideration? Okay, I'm not hearing anything, so do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second. Is that Caleb?
No, Bill.
Oh, Dan. You guys sound alike. You do that all the time. Dan and Jenny, okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next, we have our first presentation, which is the hospital. Sherry, I'm assuming that's you and your team?
Yes.
To talk about athletic trainers. Come on down,
Ready?
you're on.
All right. So I'm Sherry Willard. I'm the CEO at Evanston Regional Hospital. My background is nursing. I don't think I've met all of the board in this role. I've been back with the hospital for about 13 years. And I have Matt Mitchell with me. He's one of our physical therapists, and Angie Foster, who is our chief nursing officer.
Hi.
We're actually here today to, I watch the board meetings every month, and
Sucker for punishment.
I don't have any, all my grandkids are in school now, so all my kids are grown up. So during the last board meeting, I was a little bit taken aback. I wasn't aware that we were in need of an athletic trainer. So I just wanted to present what Evanston Regional Hospital can do for our community. The big thing that I wanted to bring is that we are focused on community growth and expansion. We're the healthcare facility in our community. We participate in all of the athletic things. We sponsor everything. We do the sports physicals, where we do give back $10 to the athletic department. So there's quite a few things that the hospital does as part of our community. In addition, we are a for-profit, which sometimes that'll get you in trouble, but in this case, it doesn't, because we pay all of our taxes and support our community and our school district to the best of our abilities. So with that, after hearing about the athletic trainer and the need, I wanted to put together something so that the school board would know what our hospital can do, what our opportunities are. And I'll let Matt kind of talk about physical therapy, and then we'll kind of get through that. But just so you know, the end of this is, if it's an athletic trainer that we're looking for, Evanston Regional doesn't have an issue with that either. I mean, they're not like readily available. It's not like, we turn around and you hire an athletic trainer. They're just not out there. However, we do have a very robust physical therapy team. We have physicians, sports medicine physicians, orthopedics, and so we can fill that gap while we're looking for that person. So I'll let Matt kind of talk about what he's able to assist with in athletics.
Hello. As a physical therapist myself, I've had quite a bit of experience and knowledge just treating a lot of different injuries. Something myself, personally, I like to focus on is prevention. Not having to come in to see us, not getting injured. I know that's tough in a school environment, and that's something that I've seen that I think the community could really benefit from. Because every athlete that's down, one, you got a student that's hurt. It's a small school, not a lot of students to take their place. And so I can see that's really important. And so our rehab team, our physical therapy team, like I said, we have a lot of knowledge about the anatomy and everything that goes on with with sports, as well as other items such as concussion management, vestibular disorders, different things that occur with an injury that sometimes get neglected and leave these kids having some issues that may persist for a lot longer than they need to. One of the things that we try to do is kind of find that root cause of an injury. Now, granted, if it's an injury on the field, someone hits someone, the knee goes out, obviously.
It's not going to be hard to figure out.
Yeah, shoulder pad, that's the problem. But what about those non-contact injuries? How many guys and girls have you had out there who take a wrong turn and all of a sudden they drop, and we don't know what it is? And it leads to some injuries, it leads to downtime, it leads to a lot of pain. And so that's something I want to try and integrate, is having some pre-season injury screening. I know they're doing the physicals, which is great, which we're making sure physically they can do what they needed to do. What about movement-wise? What about their mobility? There are some identifying factors that we've been able to see just as looking how they squat or looking how they move in certain areas, that we actually are able to see down the road, these folks may get injured from a non-contact injury. And these are these preventable injuries that we try to do. And so something we want to do is identify those at-risk students early on in the season, we can work with the coaches, we can work with an athletic trainer to really get that together to help to prevent these injuries from occurring.
Is there a way to integrate that with the physicals?
Absolutely, absolutely. Physical therapists and athletic trainers work together a lot.
So when they come in for their sports physical, you could do that assessment too?
Yeah.
We already do some, so I don't know that, like, I don't know, and that at the same time it could be done, it might be a little difficult unless there's some special training they could give us on top of what we already do on a sports physical.
Yeah,
But usually you're talking 15, 20 minutes that we have someone in.
Yeah.
But to have them come like to the schools, I'll be at the school half the day tomorrow, so to have them there and be able to walk in and do some of those things would be awesome.
Screening can take as little as 5 minutes. And so it's pretty quickly, so we can combine them together. And
So you can tell me if I have deformed knees or something?
I can try, but we all do. The other thing we offer in our clinic, we're all really hands-on with our approach with physical therapy. I try to keep myself on kind of the bleeding edge of what the research shows is physical therapy. Something we utilize at our hospital, which is actually something new, is actually developed by the military about 10 years ago. It's something called blood flow restriction, where it's a treatment technique that's utilized that can actually help people rehabilitate faster, helps them get back on their feet faster while decreasing the amount of load to those tissues that cause pain. It's been used a lot in special forces. It's been shown to decrease amputations in the military with those coming home from deployment. And I actually just saw an article in New York Times talking about the Olympians using blood flow restriction too. So it's actually really cool that we're actually able to be part of this new technology to enable our kids to get better faster, enable our patients to get better faster. And I've done it myself. It feels great. It's hard, but it works.
Cutting off your blood vessels.
So this is our physical therapy team that we have in the clinic. I'm in there. Weird-looking guy in the back, and we got Colby Gomez and Ann Webb, who are both there with us.
You can have a chair and sit to do that if you'd like. I mean, you don't have to stand. Wait, I just realized there wasn't a chair for you guys
I can
to sit.
squat and work on my hair.
We'll make him squat. I'm not squatting. I don't want to squat. So basically, that's kind of the physical therapy aspect, and I think historically, that is what has been presented to the high school, at least, in years past. And again, I think that's a huge piece. Athletic trainers obviously are beneficial, but I think it's the whole picture. So I wanted to just explain, as far as sports, injuries, physicians, we do have an orthopedic surgeon that is here in town, local. Dr. Michael Pullins, Corbin Rasmussen is his PA. Chad Brady is a foot and ankle specialist, and Richard England is a sports medicine and family medicine doc. Again, just want to reiterate, these are physicians that are in our community, their kids are in our school, they're part of UNT County. Some of the things that, and obviously this really ties back into physical therapy, if the school district feels it's a beneficial thing for an athletic trainer, again, I think everybody is on board with trying to keep our kids safe. I had lots of kids in sports, and I think we spent more money at the doctor because somebody's broken, damaged. I mean, it happens between football and wrestling and cheerleading, and so I truly do understand the need and the reasoning, as well as the financial impact that does to the school district when you're, already battling budget cuts. I did not go through and put in all of we can buy tape and we can buy a bed, because I just feel like, as a facility, we already have all of those things. I mean, we do this day in, day out.
The question is, sure, you're going to charge me $100?
Right, I'm not going to charge you $100 for the tape, because it's like 10 cents a roll. So, to me, again, the big thing that I really wanted to make sure that everybody knows in the school board was we are part of our community, and we try our best to be participants in that, and obviously we want to be utilized for all of the services we have as well. And that kind of is it. Do you have any questions? Again, I'm not going to go through all of you buy tape, I'll buy a table. if the need is an athletic trainer, again, I am confident that I can't run out and find one of those because I've been looking. Matt's done a lot of research for me on, how does that look? Is it different than, say the word?
Kinesiology?
I cannot ever say that word. So, some of those things, because obviously you can, maybe piecemeal, but.
And that's what we were looking for. And I guess that would be my question for you guys, Sherry, is I think what we are looking for is somebody that can be on staff with the high school, to be there all the time, travel with the teams, be the athletic director, and to what extent we can partner with whatever medical provider we have to do that and to oversee, supervise. I mean, that's what we want. Our want is to have that position, have it be part of the staffing at the high school, and but understanding that, they need the proper credentials and the certifications and everything else that they need. And yes, maybe a degree in kinesiology. But
I'm still trying to figure out all the differences between that and an athletic trainer and physical therapy, but that is educating me greatly.
Because PT is sort of over here, advanced degree, and athletic trainer is not the same thing. So that's what we are looking for. Obviously, to the extent we can get that through somebody local, great. We have to look at tax dollars and how much it costs, and how soon we can have that on board. We'd love to have something on board by fall. You got 3 weeks.
Right. Exactly.
Go ahead.
We have not heard back from the Star Valley Medical Group, and to me what that means is, just as has been pointed out, they can't find anybody. Just kind of a quick reminder, is that group came to us with the proposal of providing an athletic trainer full-time at the high school. In our conversations with them, we made it very clear, we're not trying to push any of our local providers out. If anything, we want to provide greater service to them.
Yep.
And I know as a board, you guys ask those questions too. We've been good partners with Evanston Regional Hospital. We want to continue that. We appreciate the service they provide our students, and that's really the key here, is whatever we can do to provide a better service to our students. I have a feeling we're probably not going to find a athletic trainer before school starts. Right now, we still are under contract with Dr. Duquetta for those services. They're a totally different package, but at least it provides us some range of an athletic trainer.
We've got sort of an umbrella right now. I did have, after our last board meeting, one of the seniors that graduated this year came up to me and said, I'm going to go to school for that, and I want to be the trainer. You hold it for 4 years. Sure.
It'll still be open.
Sure, it might still be open.
At the rate we're going, it might be open.
Yeah.
Come on back. Keep in touch.
Well, I believe at least in my understanding, that contract, the athletic contract is up for renewal this year. And again, I am not after disturbing anything with Mike Duquetta, because he's part of our community.
Right.
I truly do want everybody in our community. I think the conversation truly comes in when you start to bring outside medical professionals in. That becomes a different conversation when we have that ability. So,
well, when it goes out for bid, hopefully you guys will be there too, and we'll get some, we're obligated to go out for bids. So.
It's always zero. Everybody's bids are zero. I mean, everybody knows the school district doesn't have a lot of extra money. You know what I mean? It's a known, it's a known fact. And so again, as a company, as an organization, that's truly what we're here for, is to provide health care. So, does anybody else have any questions for me or Matt or Angie?
I guess my question is how do you envision this athletic trainer? Is this person or individual going to be 100% committed to our schools, or is it going to be part-time?
I think it's morphed. The hospital does not have a need for an athletic trainer. Similarly, a degree in
Kinesiology.
Cannot say that word to save me. However, so for a facility in a hospital, that's not a need. That doesn't, so it's not somebody that we're going to have, well, you got to come work in PT or whatever. During the summers and things like that, obviously they can assist and help in PT, but it's really more about that integrated. Right.
That, you know, what, the intriguing thing for us with the Star Valley proposal was that, that there would be a class that could be taught at the
Yes.
school that would be in coordination with the hospital or the medical group, and that was really intriguing, so.
You have student trainers.
You're right, and have student
Right.
train, yeah.
Right.
And that kind of thing. So that was, you know, whether it's a PT guy or a nursing
Right.
person or a whomever.
Right, anybody that can teach, yeah.
Anyone that has 3 years experience, we can certify as a teacher.
Right.
And the challenge is, how do you balance that time that they have to use in some other profession or field to make a living and then work for the school district from basic?
Right.
1 till 7 or 8 at night, depending on what activities we have going on.
Right.
There are just not very many athletic trainers out there. And as has been brought up probably every year for the last 8 years, we're the only 4A school district that doesn't have a
Well, dang it, how do those other guys get one if we can't find one?
No idea. Larger communities probably is a big thing, but you've heard one of the ways is through this Star Valley Medical Group. That's how Star Valley does it. I believe Lyman Mountain View will do something similar. But we've looked for a solution. We kind of put a umbrella, you call it, on it right now.
I mean, it's a Band-Aid, but it's covered us for a while. But, you know, to the extent you guys can figure something out, Sherry, please
Yeah.
come back to us.
Yeah, I mean,
Please.
again, you know, I feel like we have a bigger bandwidth. We have the ability to manipulate how that works within
Right.
our organization, and a smaller organization doesn't. And again,
Even with
we're talking
recruiting,
about
it's you guys are
providers.
going out recruiting for different things.
Right, I mean, yeah,
So I guess my
our bandwidth there is obviously much larger.
Yeah.
more clarification on, I mean, obviously a kinesiology degree, but after that point, have you looked into what it requires or what's required to achieve or get that athletic training? Is it a certificate? Is it a degree? Is it just a 6-month process in which you go after a kinesiology degree to go get it? It's not, it's obviously not a master's program or a graduate program. So can you get it at the same time you're going through your kinesiology programs?
And it's actually a Bachelor of Science of Athletic Training.
Really?
Okay.
Yep. Which I think then you get the athletic training certificate. There are actually a lot of physical therapists that actually do athletic training and then go off to get their doctorate
And then go on to the
later
graduate work.
to go there. I've worked with a few in the past. I don't have my athletic training degree. However, I do know that according to the state boards, I am able to do on-the-field training and everything, just as long as I feel comfortable with what I'm doing. So-
Under your current license?
Yes.
And I do believe there is some kind of certification test they have to pass, because we've had several that have come to us that said, I have my degree, but I can't pass the test.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to be able
Sorry.
to put, you have to be able to pass the
And you have to be
exam.
licensed to.
Yeah.
Yeah, licensed as an athletic trainer in the state of Wyoming
Okay.
to do it. So it's a pretty significant
So maybe
It
process.
really has its own
Next time you're
thing,
hiring a
like
physical
nursing and
therapist, make
therapy.
sure they've got that.
Right,
I
right.
say we put one of these 3 through school. And
Yeah,
I'm out.
exactly.
I don't want to go to school.
I meant one of the
I
3
was gonna say,
PT.
please don't, I don't want to go to school anymore.
Well, and that's what
So
is really attractive to us in terms of teaching our students, is maybe we can get some students interested where they would prepare before they got to college, and they could come back in 4 years. And
Like the senior told me, I want that job. Can you hold that
so
job?
that's one of the things that's attractive to us truly, is the class. And I've seen it function in other 4A schools. A pretty neat program for kids, that health services field that is a little abandoned right now.
Right.
So
Is it like a semester-long class? Like what?
it can be.
It-
It
yeah,
can be
I
more
mean,
than
I
that.
think it
can
would
be
be-
whatever. When we go through vocational classes, we need a 3-year path, so it would be a 3-year type path. Training 1, training 2, training 3. And then vocational dollars flow into that. That would at least be a 3-year commitment.
So is there anybody from here locally that is going through kinesiology? I know my daughter and Mackenzie Harold went through the same program down in Laramie. I mean, if it's going to truly be that at that point, or if you guys are looking at that, I don't know what other schools are out there that we have kids that are going to.
My
that might
only
be.
knowledge of that is, I have a son-in-law that has a kinesiology degree. He's going into physical therapy, so that's what he got his bachelor's in, now he's going into physical
But
therapy.
if there's a bachelor's of athletic training,
Yes.
I don't know what schools offer
You make a
that,
choice
but
to be a trainer or a kinesiologist.
BYU does?
Yeah, Brigham Young does.
BYU does.
Most big universities do.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's a dividing line. I guess it's the same as if you're going to be a math teacher or a mathematician. There's, at some point, you make a divide. So we want the teachers. Not as much money in that as regular math degrees.
Well, I thank you guys very much for coming in. We did want to hear from you, so I'm glad you did. Anybody else have further questions?
No, thank you for your service.
It was nice meeting you.
Really, we appreciate this last year was so crazy with COVID. You guys were a calming influence in our community.
Oh, seriously, the fact that your staff did the testing that they did as well as they did, they just clap now.
Yeah, we have an awesome group, so absolutely.
I mean, it wasn't pleasant doing it, mind you, but it was quick.
If Angie ever did yours, you knew it. She's not allowed to COVID test me ever again.
On that note, there has been an increase.
There is an increase, though.
We've heard that the Delta variant is hitting us again.
We're at like 50%.
And we need to have that conversation with public health when we go back to school, so.
We're going to cross our fingers that it disappears, right? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you guys very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Aiden, I see you're here for your mom.
Yeah, I'm interning for the paper for my senior project, so.
Fantastic.
Good for you.
Look at you getting it
All I
done.
see him is taking pictures, so I don't see any notes. That's an internship. I ain't supposed to be I'm going to be on the front page and he's going to write something bad about me.
Pictures worth 1,000.
Okay, next on the agenda is the board retreat, which is next week. Hopefully we'll have a quorum there, right?
Yeah, Madam Chair, members of the board, just a reminder, the 27th Tuesday is, we've set aside for a board retreat. We have planned a dinner, and then there is a kind of agenda. What we really like to do is just have an opportunity for the board to talk to the administrators and central administrators too, so principals and central administrators. We do review our strategic plan at that point. Anything that strategically you guys would like to propose for the coming year. Would have been nice if we'd kind of had a heads up at the retreat that we were going to go after a bond election.
Yeah.
Those kind of little things.
Well, that sort of came as a surprise.
Yeah, it
but
did.
Yeah.
So anyway, as many as you can make it, it is posted as a regular board meeting so we can all be together. And like I said, it is.
And we do invite, like I say, we do want to have, the feedback from administrators and whomever about, what we're doing right and what we're not. So.
Yes. So it's an important meeting. Like I said, it starts us off. I would say 2 hours probably at the max.
And there's food.
Yeah. So we do have some individuals that can't make it, but hopefully we get a good majority of the board.
Dave wants to know what kind of food.
Well, darn good barbecue.
Okay, well, then we'll go.
Well, then we're coming.
I'm in.
Yeah, right. Okay, staff survey results is next on our discussion items.
Madam Chair, members of the board, let me find it.
We had fairly decent responses this year. I don't think it was as high as last year, but you'll tell me.
We didn't have as many, and part of that was, again, my fault. Usually what we did is we timed this with our exit survey, our exit paperwork as an individual finishes the school year. We just included the survey, and so they could do it right there. Even then, we averaged between 150 and 200 employees, and out of 600, it's about a third. This year, if you remember, it just missed. I just missed it. So I started it after our June board meeting. We were probably at just about 150 responses.
And I'll fill it out in September when they're emailing you.
Yeah. I was telling my wife about it. She says, well, I haven't seen it. I said, well, have you opened any of your school emails? No. So we'll get a whole bunch. And so what I would like to do, and what we've done in the past, is just quickly go through this and talk about ups and downs. We've been given the same survey since 2018, and really, for the board, that's a good measuring distance. So you're talking, 3 years, what's happened in 3 years with the culture. In 2018, the board at the time was very concerned about things they were hearing about satisfaction, so we put this survey together.
Well, our numbers from 17 weren't all that great.
No.
They were,
So,
it wasn't the same survey, but it was a different survey, but they were sort of in the tank,
Yes.
so.
So let me get that to you. So comparing from last year, and remember last year was unique. The satisfaction was probably extremely high just because of the idea of COVID and the way we finished the year, and we basically paid everyone regardless. I think it showed a very high level of concern. I don't think it's a higher level of concern than we always show, but it was just so evident at the end of 2020. So as we look at this, I'm just going to skip. You can see the breakdown. Most of the certified staff were the ones that responded, and then the smaller portion is administration, because there's a smaller portion of administration. You can see what is your primary work level. Elementary has the largest group. You can see middle school, high school, and then district assignments. So we did get representative from everyone. Focus of the board on goals, objectives, and strategic plan. The amounts last year for that, we were at
90-something, I thought.
we were at 88% for satisfaction and somewhat satisfaction. That's down from last year. We were 90s, high 90s last year the board was. If you go back to 2018, it's up. So over a 3-year period, if you take 2020 out of there, the satisfaction is still much higher than it was 3 years ago. How we categorize this is we looked at the board level, the superintendent level, and then the district level. And so we're completed by the school board during the 2021 school year. Again, that's 93.9%, which is down from the previous year. So
I'm still calling it a win.
you get 94% satisfaction from what the board did over a year. When you talk about COVID, you should be pretty proud. It is way up from 2018. So, board's response to the wants and needs of students, staff, parents, and community. So that was 88% too, and that was down from last year. So the next three that you can see, I think the way I did that is this is the superintendent. Superintendent on district goals, objectives, and strategic plan.
You got good marks, Ryan.
Can't find it. Superintendent was 93.9, which is down, but pretty hard to be upset about.
We knew we weren't going to maintain last year's numbers.
94% approval rating is pretty good. The work completed by the superintendent is 92.3. It's down from the previous year, up from 2018. Superintendent's response to the wants and needs of the student, staff, parents, and community, 88.9, so it's down, and gives us something to work for. Let's see. The next three are the districts. I'm having such a hard time finding them. Okay, primary work assignment, school board.
I think we're in the 90% on that one. My math is right.
91.5 on district goals and objectives, down from last year, again up from 2018. District work completed is 89.8, which is down, still 99. A 90% approval rating is still pretty good. District response to the wants and needs of students was 88, which is down. Probably the most important indicator is the last one, which is the overall climate of the school district. And you can see that is 86.3. So it's still pretty positive marks. Dissatisfaction is 13.6, which represents 16 individuals that were dissatisfied or very dissatisfied with what the district's doing. Again, it gives us an area to work on. I still think it To me, it means we're on the right track. During the 2021 school year, I think we showed a very high level of concern for our staff and our students, even with our attendance policies, the way we paid for COVID leave. I think the way we tried to do everything we can to support our students. I think it's just a positive outlook on what's happening in our district, and hopefully it continues. If you get a chance to go through the comments, what the district's doing well, some of the comments are very, very good. And what
Where
the
are those
district
at, Ryan?
Yeah, I
needs to do better. What's that?
Where are the comments at?
You guys didn't get those?
No,
No.
we didn't get them. Could we please have them?
Yeah, I will attach them.
Thank you.
I'll just share them with you. We are going to review them at the retreat,
Okay.
so I'll give you a chance to look at them before we go over them. But like I said, even many of the what does the district need to do better are very positive and give us some opportunities to reflect. So.
For next year, can you get a graphic on where we're at, so make sure we're projecting in the right trend? So for next year, if we have to do this, we can kind of see
Yeah.
where we're tracking.
I mean, how far you want to go back? You want to go 4 years, 5 years? When did you start this? 2018 was the first year?
No, we did it since 16. I was
We've had hit
elected
or
in
miss
16.
surveys,
Yeah.
probably, well, this one for sure since I think 16, 17,
Okay.
Yeah.
when we were first asked.
So next year we'll have the ability to do 5-year trend.
And if you remember, one year, the group didn't trust the board to do it, so we had an outside agency do it. The information we received, I still don't think was very, very good and helpful. We had more community members participate. This is simply our staff satisfaction survey, but we can definitely do trends and show you that.
That'd be great.
Go from there. Just to update you on that, I know during my evaluation, several of you asked about the survey, and like I said, it was delayed a little bit. That's where we are.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is our public comment section. Anyone from the public that wants to comment? I have 2 members of the public. Don't feel pressure or anything.
Bueller.
Bueller, I know, right? It doesn't appear that we have any commenters, so we'll move on to our action items. First item on the agenda is the personnel issues. We have some letters of resignations and some I think 1 letter of resignation and then some contracts.
Madam Chair, we recommend that you approve the resignation of Lisa Platt.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the resignation of Lisa Platt?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, hearing none.
Jamie,
Oh.
who?
Oh, sorry, that was, I think, Caleb. and David. Yeah,
Thank you.
sorry. See, you can't tell them apart either, right? It's not just me. And then we have some contracts.
Madam Chair, members of the board, we recommend that you approve certified contracts for Lorinda Brady, Whitney Mills, Lindsay Bowen, Ashley Graham, Brett McCoy, and Sadie Ulander. With that, we only have 1 more position, certified position to fill,
Fantastic.
elementary position.
Do we have a motion to approve the contracts as presented?
So moved.
Second.
So that's Joel and Jenny, that one I know. Any further discussion? All I can say is sometimes as a teacher, it makes me proud to see my former students getting hired, so that just, makes me happy. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you very much. I'm happy to hear that we're getting some good folks. The next item on the agenda is the Drama Club trip request to Disney World. I know that Ms. Russell was going to maybe attend by Zoom.
She did not make it on.
Okay.
Madam Chair, members of the board, we did have a presentation by the HF Drama Club trip representatives requesting a trip to Florida for some training and other activities. Had a chance to meet with Mrs. Russell and Principal Lester. We had a discussion about several things. Number 1, for us, was the concern of this idea that the expense is pretty extreme. And what that expense does is it limits some students who could not participate. We did have that question posed last month, and there was a response that we can use some of the student activity funds. Well, in discussion with that, that would not probably be appropriate to have student activity funds which were generated by a large group to go to the travel of one individual or two individuals. So that really is not an option for them. The other thing we talked about is this idea of liability. The district assumes a lot of liability for all their activities. This is an activity that Wyoming Department of Education does not recognize as a school-sponsored activity. If we recognize it as a school-sponsored activity, we assume the liability for that.
Oh, I don't like that.
We didn't really get into the days off of school because they're manageable. Typically, these kids are very good students, and if they miss a few days of school, they're going to be okay. We did talk about, lost my mind now, but we did talk about other reasons why we felt that this trip should not be a school-sponsored activity. At the same time, we made it very clear that if the board votes not to represent this as a school-sponsored activity, it doesn't mean that the club cannot go. The club can go on their own. Many of the chaperones that are on the list are parents of kids that are going. Parents are always welcome to take their kids and do these kind of activities. And so it doesn't kill them going, it's just not sponsored by Evanston High School or the Uinta County School District. We talked to Mrs. Russell about to proceed. She requested that this stay on the agenda for a vote.
I know that there are many of us that have some concerns, and we can discuss those. We probably should take a motion before we really start the discussion, perhaps. But I know that I actually want to get the discussion out before we take a motion. So if you guys are okay with that procedurally, let's do that. I know many of you have expressed to me as the chair your concerns. There are a lot of them. Not that the kids are going to go on this trip. We think, I'd want to go on this trip, quite frankly. It sounds like a lot of fun. But there are concerns with having it be a school-sponsored trip and using some of the activities funds for the trip. Jenny, you want to start us off with thoughts?
Well, I think Ryan brought up a lot of the concerns that I had, excluding kids that may not be able to afford it, having it school-sponsored and releasing them from, days of school. I just think it sets a precedent that we would have to pick and choose for other activities doing the same thing, and I just don't think we should do it.
Joel, any thoughts?
No.
Madam Chair, if I may, just to add to some of my comments and concerns, Wyoming High School Activities tries to put their activities in line so you don't have to give up something to participate in something else. This drama trip is actually in the middle of football, volleyball, and
it's in
marching band season. So students would have to make a choice to give up other activities to go on this trip. And this is not during their activity time. So they would be sacrificing their football players' time where they would be playing football. If they're in the marching band, they're sacrificing time when their cumulative event is. And all of our activities have rules that if you're not in practice, you don't participate. We understand that sometimes there's family trips and families emergencies, but still, you lose your privilege probably to start or play a portion of the event if you're gone and not at practice during that week. That week is the week of hunting break. I think it's the week we play Star Valley in football, which means we'll have several competitions in volleyball. Marching band, I think it's the culminating event. And those are just three to pick from. So it does put our kids that want to go to this event in a situation where they have to make a choice. It puts our sponsors, who are trying to build the team, in a position where they may lose kids that they've been counting on all year. So.
Okay. Krista, anything?
Oh, I just worry about it being school-sponsored. I say all the power to them if they want to go on their own, and, everyone's kind of raising the money on their own. That's great, but I just worry about them going that far. And not considering there's some local stuff from what I understand, or closer activities that can be done.
Well, we had talked about the Shakespeare Festival.
Well, and that was certainly my concern. I think, having the opportunity to see some of these things, whether it's the characters or the backstage, costuming, stage design, those kind of things, I know that those are really beneficial if you're in the theater group, but I also know, look, I've been going to the Utah Shakespearean Festival for 33 years. I know what they can provide for students and for kids, and it's fantastic, and I would rather have them do that than go to Florida, quite frankly, so.
So it wouldn't cost as much.
It wouldn't cost as much. You've also got the Hale Center Theater and Pioneer Theater and a bunch of these other companies that, and I know Shakespeare can come to you as well, if you want to do something like that, so. I have some concerns with getting the same content for, especially if it's going to be school sponsored, for better bang for your buck, as it were. Dave?
The first thing I want people to realize and understand is this is not easy for the board in no way, shape, or form. I mean, we've discussed this, and it's hard because we want to see our youth succeed, and we want them to have joy and happiness in their lives, and I'd love to see them go. But there is just too many questions on the liability side, the timing of when they chose to go, with the conflict with some of the activities and the state-sponsored WHSAA events that they would have to choose from. And I hope that this department, because Ms. Russell does a fantastic job. She does, and she's been very successful. And I hope they do not take this personally and don't think that it's an attack on her and her program. It's just what we have to do as a board for the best interest of our school district. And that at times makes it difficult. So I hope everybody realizes that.
Dan?
I just would echo what Dave said. It's a great concern to all of us, and I personally am not willing to endorse this activity from a yes vote from me. A lot of activities happen like this, but they're in the summertime. We talked about that, and this is, I don't know if there's a different time they could have gone. Oftentimes there's some pretty intense fundraising to make sure everybody that wants to go can go, and I don't know if that was done.
I think there was some of that. Yeah.
Okay, but we talked about it, and I would not be in favor of this now.
Okay, Caleb?
I'm on board with what everybody else has said.
Okay, obviously echo what everybody else said. I think that a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when Aaron came before the board, it was for Disneyland, not Disney World, and I think there were some of us on the board that just said, we're going to be really leery if you come ask for this again. And we are leery. I am very concerned about the liability, because that's just the lawyer in me. I can't help it. But with that said, do we have a motion to approve or deny?
Motion to deny.
Jenny makes a motion to deny the request. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Caleb. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion to deny passes, which means the trip is not approved. Aiden, I know this is your group, and I'm really sorry, but let them know they can still go. Your parents just have to check you out, and it's not a school checking you out, but you can still go.
Hey, I'm impartial. I'm here with the paper. I don't have an opinion on it.
I like that, great answer. All right, moving on to the next item. The notice of intent to adopt Rule CKA, and we are dealing now with a notice that was in February of this year, February 2nd, 2021. I don't know, Mr. Thomas, if you want to set this up or want me to do that? Okay.
Madam Chair, members of the board, if you remember last month, we talked about adding the comments to the packet of information from the notice. I have done that. I could show you them if you want. It's available to the public through our website. It's just the comments from the last board meeting. I also added the link to the last board meeting. I also added the video from the last board meeting, so they're all there. Our recommendation is that you approve those comments to that packet.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the board comments as described by Mr. Thomas?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and I know that everyone knows at the last meeting, we also had some comment about starting over, but we do have final action for this tonight.
Yeah, Madam Chair, members of the board, I recommend that you take final action, whatever the board chooses to do, as was discussed at the last meeting.
Okay. Do I have a motion to take final action, or to approve or deny, or whatever you want to do on Rule CKA?
So moved.
Do I have a second? I do not have a second, which means the action or the motion fails for lack of a second. So, going on to the next one.
Madam Chair, members of the board, it is recommended, if you notice, that one of the options we talked about to the board is to start over with a new notice, a new comment period, a new public hearing, and really to make sure that we've done this right. And even though my opinion is we have done this right, we've taken every opportunity to provide our community the chance to comment and to follow the WAPA, which is still new and unusual for us. It's not what we do. I think the intent of the WAPA is to provide public comment and provide the public an opportunity to hear back from the board about why they are continuing to move forward or why they're not moving forward on a rule. So, Madam Chair, members of the board, I recommend that we approve the notice. It is a new notice. It is updated with dates. It has a public hearing on August 3rd, which is our same night of the board meeting. We'll do very similar to what we do tonight. We'll go to a point, recess the regular board meeting, have a public comment period on CKA, let it carry out the 45 days. I think it's September 15th is our time period for comments. Put those comments together, let the board review them. The board would take action on those comments in October and possibly action on the notice also in October. So we recommend that you approve this new notice and we start the clock over again.
So the motion would be to adopt the notice of intent to adopt the rules, and all of the materials that were in the packet would be along with that.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve the new notice of intent to adopt the rules?
So moved.
Second.
Caleb or Dan?
Caleb.
Okay. And Jenny. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries.
Madam Chair, if I may add one thing, the plan will be to remove all of the previous documents, but allow whatever the board wants to move forward in terms of comments or response to be added to this new notice. But we'll
So
make
all
sure-
of the other stuff can be added to the new notice?
Yes, but we'll remove them just so we
So we're starting
don't
clean?
confuse people.
Okay.
So what will be on our website tomorrow is all the new packet.
Okay.
And we'll move the
And
old
only the new packet?
Yes. And we'll, again, take the steps to take this to the clerk's office and make sure that all the same ways to provide comments are in the new notice. They
So
can-
we'll check all the new ways, make
Yes.
sure that there aren't comments out there that we forgot to
Yes,
look at
we're
and all that
not
kind
going
of
to do that
stuff.
again.
Yeah, that's
It's
what
actually, that comment form is probably the easiest way for people to provide comments. It was just overlooked, so we kept it there intentionally because it is an easy way to provide comments, both pro and con.
So go online if you have comments, and then we will have a formal public hearing and keep that comment period going. We're not going to look at comments until after that public hearing
Exactly.
opens, but you're certainly free to do it. All right, thank you, everyone. What about the position statement for the wrestling, the girls wrestling?
Madam Chair, members of the board, had discussions with several individuals. Director O'Neill was one of the individuals. He had comments with Wyoming High School Activities Association. They're going to stick pretty hard and fast to the idea that they'll have to have 8 schools that provide some kind of support for this before they'll do it. There's already one school that has or is taking similar action than what we're doing. All we're doing is, as a board, you're approving a resolution or a statement that we support a separate wrestling tournament for girls in the program, held at the same time, same place, same location as the current wrestling tournament.
The state wrestling tournament.
State wrestling tournament. So this is the resolution I put together. Again, I took board policy and laid out what really I thought Coach Wagstaff was asking, what I heard the board say, is we do believe this is a neat opportunity for all students to participate in an activity, which is wrestling. Traditionally, we've had young ladies who participated. All we're asking is that if there's enough, let's just have a wrestling tournament at the end, a culminating event at the end. They would be able to wrestle through the season, no difference than they have forever. Let's just have a culminating event for them. To me, this would probably, the only way you're going to get 8 is it's probably going to be A1 to A4, whatever the divisions of probably all.
You're going to have to.
Yeah. We are one of the only states that doesn't do this already. So we're catching up.
So we're playing catch up. All right. Does anybody have any questions?
Appreciate the editorials, or whatever you call them, the help on this from Mr. Phillips and Mr. Rigby and Dr. Ingles.
I know, I didn't even have to redline it.
Well, it's all board policy, so if you're redlining this, you're redlining board policy.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve the board resolution regarding the wrestling tournament for girls, a culminating event?
So moved.
A motion by Joel?
Second.
Wow. I think Dave was faster. Second by Dave. Any further discussion? Again, I think it does reflect the sentiment of the board that we expressed anyway, but I appreciate you guys doing this. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries.
So, Madam Chair, the way I tend to proceed is I'll just send this to Wyoming High School Activities Association. I also plan, if you guys are okay with this, to share it with my Southwest Superintendent group.
Yes.
And all superintendents in the state.
Yes. Fine. Absolutely. All right, I need a motion to take a recess from the regular session and open the, actually, there's probably 2 different motions. But it's a motion to recess the regular board meeting and open the 21-22 budget hearing.
Second.
Motion by Jenny, second by Krista. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we are now budgeting. John, take us away.
Okay, I've got to get my screen. It may be here. How do I project one
It's a
screen?
lovely picture.
I think it's... I just need to project one. Oh, just...
Hey, wait, did Aiden bail on us when we started talking about money?
No input, projected. Come on. I have a feeling it's on a secondary. Is it duplicate? Okay. There we
Hey,
go.
Tom.
Yes, there we go. All right. Madam Chair, members of the board, I'm pleased to be with you this evening and discuss the next year's budget and a little bit of last year on that. And this is the theme.
That's not
This is
auspicious beginning, John.
This is the theme. We need to count our blessings.
It's not a train wreck, right?
The averted train wreck. So, as you know, we've had a kind of a crazy year. And from about October on, I was working on about an 8% cut. It's like, okay, all right, we can get this going, and things like that. And just to kind of bring you up to speed and review, I'm pretty sure you've heard most of this, is that the state legislature is kind of the key player. They are tasked by both the Constitution of the state of Wyoming and as defined by the Wyoming Supreme Court, that they are to provide funds. And it was a little bit of a game of chicken, I think, because what happened was as the bills marched through both the House and Senate, they went into conference committee. And I've never seen this before. Conference committee is where two similar bills kind of get meshed together. They bring in their leadership and things. The Senate did not even show, which is not a great way to run a representative republic. We don't want that. That's not the way we would like to see things happen.
Simpler said, they are tasked with funding's education, and they didn't do their damn job.
That's
okay, sorry.
So, the funding went to last year's 1920s law. In other words,